Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day and you're out doing something you love. I'm just chilling in the backyard, kind of the calm before the storm. Supposed to be some storms set in for a couple days. I did get out and do some detecting this morning on land. Found one flat button with a broken shank and one suspender buckle, so the day was not a bust. But today I wanted to continue talking a little bit about research. If you saw yesterday's daily dig log, I talked about the research that led me to Yankee Camp number 4. And today I wanted to kind of give you guys a few more ideas on how to research. And I do have some relics out here with me today to kind of emphasize the point. But what I really wanted to talk to you about was some good ideas for your research and to help you find some sites where you can find some relics. So when people get started metal detecting, they have these visions in their head of where they'd like to hunt. And I know I did. I wanted to hunt Gettysburg, and I wanted to hunt Richmond, and places like that were big location type hunts. And while I do a lot of that type of hunting nowadays, logistically it's very difficult. You have to plan where you're going. You have to find permission where you're going. You have to find lodging for yourself. You have to be away from home. So there's a lot of logistical elements that have to line up perfectly for you to go have a successful hunt on the road. So something that beginners overlook is their very local and regional history. And that's what I want to talk about today, is researching your local and regional history and ways to get out the door and start to put your finger on some spots. And some of these are obvious, and some of you may understand these principles already, but it's good for me to talk about them as much for my sake to remind myself as it is for you guys. So first thing I want to talk about is homes. Now, home sites are where I find a lot of my relics, even my Civil War relics. A lot of them are found at old home sites, and even home sites that don't date to the Civil War. I still sometimes find Civil War relics, and the reason being is that from the beginning of time, there's been crazy people like us who think little trinkets are just the neatest thing ever and have collected them. So, oh, that storm's coming. So anyway, home sites are an invaluable place to look, and one of the best resources locally you can go to find these old home sites is your local library. And if you tell your librarian, they're an underutilized resource these days. If you tell them what you're looking for, they're going to help you find some old home sites and some references to old home sites. Another thing that I wanted to mention, aside from the library, is online research. And I wanted to give you some key phrases to use in your research. And online searches can get really confusing. If you type in the wrong thing, you could miss something by, one word. So some good keywords I want to give you if you're doing your web search are words like historic district, and then historic home, and insert your county. Say like historic home, Unicoi County is what I'd say if I was looking for historic homes in this county. It seems simple, but sometimes it's just those simple words that'll lead you to the best things. Other keywords for historic sites are tavern. If you inserted historic tavern, Unicoi County, or stagecoach is another good word. Stagecoach, Unicoi County. It might lead me to some old stagecoach stops. Or, like I said, a tavern. Old tavern sites are amazing sites for relics, and that's where these relics came from I'm going to show you today. I'll give you a couple more quick key search phrases you can use to find some neat historic relics. Meeting house. They used to do camp meetings. That's another good key word. Camp meeting, meeting house. Those are places where they would come together for big church services. Thousands of people would come from all across the county, and they would all meet for these giant revival type church services, and they would be there for days, and they called it a camp meeting because people would come and camp there for days. And I found some camp meeting sites where unbelievable relics have been found. Couple more quick phrases. Encampment. If you're looking for like Civil War relics, look up Civil War encampment, Unicoi County, or whatever county you're in. Here comes the rain too. So take some of those key search phrases and apply them to your county. See what you come up with. Now I'm going to show you a couple relics I found at a tavern site that I found by searching tavern and a county name, one of the local counties here in northeast Tennessee. I searched taverns and I came up with a tavern site. I went there, I started hunting, and I found hundreds of relics there. But today I'm going to show you 5 of them. The first 2 are simple Yankee buttons, and they were right in the front yard of this house. I also found a couple rosettes in the yard of that house that were older, though. They were older rosettes. In the backyard of that house, I started finding colonial era relics. This is a 1795 2 real, and it's very hard to see any detail on it. It's very eaten up, and this coin was very, very well used. It's got a hole in it, as you can see. And this was a really unexpected find for me at that tavern site, but a treasured one for sure. I also found another 2 unexpected finds that were associated with Revolutionary War. The first of which is this 20th Regiment of Foot button. Now this is from some British troops, and it is a cuff button. It's much smaller than your typical cuff button. It's got the shank intact. I love this button. Possibly one of my favorite button finds ever. I also found this lion's head, which came off of a shako type hat, which I believe was used during the Revolutionary War. This would have had a little tongue that came out and curled up. So another amazing find from the tavern. So take some of these key search terms: historic tavern, historic inn, historic home, historic district, meeting house. Apply them to your region, see what you come up with. I'm taking this camera out of the rain, and I'll see you tomorrow.